This week on the Rockbridge Report, we have an exclusive with education reporter Krista Huber on plans for the new Waddell Elementary School building.
And we have the scoop on the Natural Bridge and how it's faring since a change of ownership in early February.
Reporter Waringa Kamau will tell us the latest on new construction in the area.
And later, we'll show you how national sports are taking a turn for the interactive. All this and more on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news for Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Laura Lindsay Tatum.
And I'm Jeb Purcell.
Breaking news from the W&L campus this afternoon. The Washington and Lee University Student Health Center says it has seen 15 to 20 cases of an unidentified gastrointestinal illness in the past few days. The symptoms include nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting. The health center has not identified the cause of the illness. A dining hall at Washington and Lee is using paper products as a precaution to limit any spread of the illness.
Another shooting at an Army base in Texas. Shots rang out late in the afternoon yesterday. CNN's Dave Stewart has the very latest.
The alarm started sounding and the gates went up, stopping traffic in its place.
Authorities scramble after another shooting in a military base. It happened at Fort Hood in Texas. Officials say a gunman is dead and there are multiple injuries. One man describes what he saw just moments after shots rang out.
They are actually escorting a group of soldiers out of the building now at gunpoint. Everyone is coming out with their hands in the air, required to drop down to their knees. Mass soldiers, men, women, and children.
The base was locked down just after the shooting. Soldiers and their families were told to stay inside and stay away from windows.
Doors and windows. Shut off heating, ventilation, and air conditioning.
President Obama spoke about the shooting from Chicago and said, "We will get to the bottom of what happened."
Many of the people there have been through multiple tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. They serve with valor and they serve with distinction. And when they're at their home base, they need to feel safe.
This latest incident is an eerie reminder for many at the base. In 2009, Army psychiatrist Nidal Hassan went on a shooting rampage at Fort Hood, killing 13 people and injuring dozens. I'm Dave Stewart reporting.
Contractors in the Rockbridge area say the local construction industry is slowly rebounding, but the statistics tell a different story. County building department officials say the number of construction permits issued in 2013 declined by about 7% from 2012. Waringa Kamau has more.
The numbers might not be good news, but local contractors insist the construction industry is in better shape than the statistics show.
It's probably doing better just because we've seen even in our office a steady increase of clients coming into us wanting to start building their new homes, retirement homes, and so forth.
Local builder Max Ivanov says the recession from 2007 to 2009 hit metropolitan areas harder than our area. He attributes that to local demographics.
Majority of construction and residential construction in the area is custom homes by retirees coming into the area, right? So in the sense, it was a good and a bad thing over the past years because those type of clients tend to be less sensitive to economic fluctuations.
Lexington building official Steve Paul says a recent trend locally is the increase in commercial construction projects.
We've had a middle school remodel. We've had Sheets has come in. The Robert E. Lee Hotel is being remodeled. The two historical inns downtown are being remodeled.
But local contractor Elizabeth Auburn thinks that the national political climate is stalling the residential housing recovery.
And until people really start feeling safe about what's going on in the government as a whole, I don't think construction is really going to go back residentially because people are scared. And it's sort of, you got to hold on to your money because if you spend it all in your house, well then that's not a liquid asset and you might need cash for something else, and you spend it on your fancy kitchen.
Ivanov thinks the local construction industry will grow in the coming years, but only to keep up with the population.
Lexington has been a steady, paced market expanding with a growing population around the area, but as far as any sort of expansion outside of the typical population growth, I probably wouldn't predict that.
For the Rockbridge Report, I am Orenga Kamau.
Maury River Middle School students are hearing a new message from their resource officer. Rockbridge County Sheriff's Deputy Chris Norris started teaching a class called Virginia Rules earlier this month. He says the course has different goals from anti-drug programs like DARE. This time, he says, students are learning how drug, alcohol, and tobacco laws affect their lives and what happens when kids violate those laws. He is also talking about juvenile legal rights. He says bullying, technology crimes, and dating violence are next on the agenda. In Lexington, the City Council is reviewing a proposed budget that calls for significant hikes in taxes and fees beginning July 1st. City Manager John Elstad has recommended a 5% increase in sewer and water charges and an 11-cent rise in the real estate tax. That would amount to a tax bill about $275 higher for a family who owns an average-priced home. City officials say building a new Waddell Elementary School would make the higher taxes necessary. Council will talk about the Waddell project tonight, and residents can hear more about the full budget on April 17th.
There were many new developments about the new Waddell Elementary building at Monday's school board meeting. Our education beat reporter Krista Huber sat down with me earlier to explain all the recent changes. Krista told me board members accepted a plan to increase the application for the bond for Waddell's construction.
The new application that will be submitted by the Lexington City School Board asks for up to $13,260,000. In January, that number was only up to $12 million, but the school board had to make adjustments when it received bids for the project last month that were more than $2 million higher than expected. The new figure comes from City Council's decision to advertise that it would hold a public hearing to discuss a bond of up to $13 million. The additional $260,000 will cover costs for financial advisors and an underwriter's discount.
So Krista, tell us a little bit about the bidding process.
Branch & Associates, a Roanoke-based construction company, placed the lowest bid for the new building. Its original bid came in at $14.3 million. The school board was shocked by the price of the bids, which were as much as $16 million. Lexington Superintendent Dan Lyons said he wouldn't ask City Council to approve a $14 million bond. So the project's architect immediately contacted Branch to begin making changes to the design of the building.
Can the bid change at all at this point?
Whatever price Branch agrees to in the contract, Branch can't exceed. The company can't go back to the school board 6 months into it and request more funding. So Branch is assuming some risk, and their price estimates could be slightly higher than what they'll actually spend.
So where does the process go from here?
During tonight's public hearing, City Council will discuss whether it will approve an application for the bond of up to $13 million. City Council doesn't have much time to make a decision. It must approve the application to submit it to the Virginia Public Schools Association by April 11th. Otherwise, it will miss out on the spring bond pool. The project could then be pushed back by at least 6 months. If the project is pushed back, City Council could face higher interest rates, and material costs are likely to increase between 2 and 3%. City Council can change the figure for the application up until April 11th, as long as it isn't higher than the $13 million advertisement.
Thanks so much for talking with us, Krista. I think we'll all be looking forward to seeing what the next steps in the process are.
Thank you.
Washington and Lee University sophomore Drew Teitelbaum has always seen himself donning a military uniform someday. But when he does that after graduation, it won't be for the United States, it will be for Israel. He's not alone. Jacob Goldstein served in the Israeli army before attending W&L's law school. Both men say they feel they can do more good defending their spiritual homeland than serving in the U.S. military.
Coming up next on the Rockbridge Report, Courtney Lewis will be in the studio to give us the latest on local weather.
Temperatures are heating up here in Lexington, but will the weather stay warm throughout the weekend? Stay tuned on the Rockbridge Report.
Henley Badcock will tell us about some big leadership changes in Buena Vista.
And later, we have the latest on how Chileans are faring in the wake of a significant earthquake. Stay with us.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally.
Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls. But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to make sure your child is protected.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day. They have the time.
Ever wonder what makes us, the Smurfs, so happy? The forest, of course. This is where we, along with the beautiful forest creatures, make our home with beautiful plant life, clean water, and endless adventures. It's a place to celebrate. So discover the forest with your family today. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
The new owner of Natural Bridge says he wants the attraction and hotel to become a model for public-private partnerships. Tom Clark has already opened new trails on the 1,600-acre property. He has also begun renovating the hotel, and he plans to start bottling Natural Bridge spring water. He is even talking about having Route 11 redirected from the top of the bridge. Clark says he will hire about 200 new employees for the attraction by this summer. Much of the property is set to become a state park within a couple of years. For a closer look at Clark's plans, go to our website, rockbridgereport.washingtonandlee.net.
Well, it looks like spring has finally come to Lexington.
But is it here to stay? Courtney Lewis is in the studio to tell us what April is beginning to look like weather-wise. Tell us, Courtney, can we finally switch out our winter closets?
I think so, Laura Lindsay. If we take a look at our current conditions right now, it's a beautiful 66 degrees outside with a low of 56, so I think spring weather is officially here to stay. And if we take a look at our regional conditions, not much to say around here either because it's in the high 60s all around this side of Virginia and in the 70s down in Lynchburg. And finally, if we take a look at our weekend report over the next 5 days, as you can see, tomorrow it will get even warmer with a high of 66, but there is a 50% chance of rain throughout the day tomorrow. On Saturday, it will be sunny with a high of 62 and a low of 36. On Sunday, another high of 62 and low of 40. On Monday, there is a 60% chance of rain throughout the day with a high of 55 and a low of 42. And on Tuesday, it should be sunny with a high of 59, but there is a 30% chance of rain. So be sure to enjoy the warm weather and stay out of the rain. I'm Courtney Lewis, back to you.
Thanks so much, Courtney. It's great to hear that some nice weather's coming our way.
Looks like a great weekend for those outdoor sports enthusiasts, too.
The Buena Vista Police Force is losing more than 50 years of experience with 2 recent retirements. Henley Badcock has more.
The police department is the city's next target for transition. Chief Daryl Slagle and Assistant Chief Jay Patterson are both retiring. Slagle's retirement especially appeared to catch the city by surprise.
This is going to be the first time in a long time that Buena Vista has had a chief of police from the outside the organization, let alone an assistant chief, all in one fell swoop.
Scudder says Slagle wants to turn over a new leaf after 21 years of service. He says Slagle told him of his decision about 2 weeks ago.
I encouraged him that I like him here and what he's doing for us, and he decided that he wanted to retire anyway.
Scudder and Slagle got into a public disagreement in January over the chief's request for new police cars. But Scudder said that had no direct connection to the retirements. But it does illustrate the kind of changes the city is going through. Some of those have to do with personnel policies.
I would be remiss to say that, Buena Vista isn't going through changes within its departments, and certainly this is change within the police department and maybe directions that were kind of commonplace a few years ago aren't commonplace today.
Nobody in City Hall besides Scudder wants to talk about the retirements. We got a no comment from several city council members, including former Chief Louis Plogger. Slagle won't talk either, and Patterson did not want to talk on camera. He did not respond to comments made by Scudder about change, but he did confirm he will look for part-time work in law enforcement. Scudder says he understands why Patterson is looking for a change.
Everybody reaches a time where they're ready to do something a little different, and they're ready for a change, and I think it's a good opportunity that they're able to do so and take their retirement and enjoy life.
Slagle has left the department already, so Patterson will lead the department until an interim chief is hired, but he plans to leave in May. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Henley Badcock.
In Rockbridge County, the Board of Supervisors is discussing a proposal to hire paid emergency workers. County fire and rescue agencies have always been staffed by volunteers, but now Lexington has both paid and volunteer staff members. And the city often has to back up when the county volunteers can't respond because of job conflicts. Supervisors are considering spending $500,000 in the next budget to fill those gaps without relying on Lexington. Supporters say the paid workers would also reduce emergency response times. For a closer look at the proposal, check out our website at rockbridgereport.washingtonandlee.net. Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, reporter Olivia Hampton has the story on where Lexington ranks for safety.
And later, sports anchor Erica Toma will be in the studio to tell us new ways sports fans are interacting with their favorite players and memories. Stay with us.
So what you want to do is, have you already enrolled? You're doing fine. What did that just do? Select the drop-down menu again. Continue site. You're already enrolled. Example here. So don't panic. You're ready to make your payment. Submit. There it is.
Oh my God!
I really can't believe it. That's awesome. Good for you.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes you.
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Obama administration officials say more than 7 million Americans signed up for health coverage under the Affordable Care Act by Monday's deadline. Rockbridge Area Health Center volunteers helped several hundred local residents navigate the marketplace, the federal exchange where the uninsured can compare and shop for a health care plan. But thousands of low-income area residents still don't have insurance. That's because they don't qualify for subsidized coverage under the new law, also known as Obamacare. And they don't meet the state's Medicaid requirements either. The Virginia General Assembly is now in a special session to consider expanding eligibility. For more on the local impact of Obamacare, go to our website at rockbridgereport.washingtonandlee.net.
Officials say at least 5 people died as an earthquake registered a magnitude of 8.2 off the coast of Chile. 3 of those people were crushed, 2 suffered heart attacks during the shaking. CNN's Andrew Spencer reports Chile's leaders plan to survey the affected areas on Wednesday.
An 8.2 magnitude earthquake happened off the coast of northern Chile, about 60 miles northwest of Iquique, just before 9 p.m. local time. Residents fled the coast when they learned the earthquake triggered a tsunami. Officials announced tsunami warnings for Chile, Peru, and Ecuador, and watches for Colombia, Panama, and Costa Rica, though those watches and warnings were later dropped. The president of Chile declared disaster areas in 3 of the country's northern provinces.
I would like to make a call to the people who live in the areas to keep calm, to follow the instructions of the local authorities and do everything that is necessary to ensure the security of themselves and their families.
Several people were reported dead as the earthquake triggered small landslides and cut off phones and electricity. Officials said members of the Air Force were on their way to the port city of Iquique, where about 300 prisoners managed to escape in the immediate aftermath of the earthquake. Officials as far away as Hawaii worried about the potential impact there and asked people to stay out of the water.
If you're not ready for it, you can get into difficulty, and if you're in the water, you can get banged about. So we really want to keep people out of the water close to the coast.
I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
Lexington was recently named one of the safest cities in Virginia in a survey done by the website SafeWise. But what does it mean to be a safe city? Olivia Hampton has the story.
Safety. It's important anywhere, but for a college town like Lexington, there could be even more at stake. Washington and Lee University Public Safety Director Ethan Kipnis says the city compares well with other places.
And the city of Lexington itself obviously is a very safe place and has very low crime rates.
SafeWise says Lexington is the 8th safest city in the state. The website rates communities based on data from Virginia State Police. More than 450,000 crimes were reported statewide in 2000. State Police. More than 450,000 crimes were reported statewide in 2011, but Lexington showed only 160 incidents. Just 3 of those were sex offenses, and another 23 were assaults. Most of the rest were theft or vandalism. Police Captain Bucky Miller says that's no reason to be complacent.
We also have to be aware of our surroundings.
Miller says theft is a big issue in Lexington.
We have a lot of larcenies. We have a lot of breaking and enterings.
WNL Junior Hannah Fisk says the thefts on campus keep things in perspective.
There are always a couple of cases every year of things being stolen from the gym. That's always just kind of like a gentle reminder.
Kipnis says university security officers don't want to scare students into feeling unsafe, but he says he worries that sometimes people might feel too comfortable.
It's a difficult balance, and always trying to figure that piece out.
WNL sophomore Erin Harvey says she tries to stay on her toes.
I think Lexington is a safe community, or at least has the reputation of being one, but at the same time, I don't want to allow myself to feel safe ever.
Miller recognizes there is something that sets Lexington apart.
We're a great police department. That's just how I feel. But we couldn't do it without the community.
Miller says the tight-knit community is what makes Lexington a great place to live.
If we ever lose that, then we'll lose a lot other than just safety.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Olivia Hampton.
Don't touch that remote. Coming up, we'll have the latest on regional and national sports.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
2 outs with a runner on first base. Now the big guy comes up to bat, hitting .342 with 92 RBIs and 36 homers.
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
"7,000 high school students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks, more than 4 miles long. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
Eric Utomo is here with us in the studio to tell us how local teams are faring. But first, he'll give us a look into how sports museums are becoming more interactive for fans. Eric?
That's right, Jeb. Chicago sports fans will soon find all of their favorite team memorabilia under one roof. The Chicago Sports Museum opens its doors Wednesday. CNN's Jessica D'Onofrio gives us a peek inside the highly interactive museum.
If you've ever wanted to shoot hoops with Scottie Pippen or try on Refrigerator Perry's Super Bowl ring, step into the Chicago Sports Museum. We got a sneak peek of the new venue up on the 7th floor of Water Tower Place. Harry Carey's restaurant franchise is opening a 22,000 square foot complex with a lunch and dinner spot attached. Things like Sammy Sosa's corked bat is on display, and if you've imagined yourself calling a game like Harry Carey, they've recreated his broadcast booth for you to give it a try.
Well, they think they can call the game like Harry. I have never heard anybody call a game like Harry. When they were boring games, he made it fun to listen.
The museum is highly interactive. People can compete in games with virtual versions of Chicago athletes. Bears wide receiver Brandon Marshall showed us how he could jump like Michael Jordan in a display that measures your vertical leap.
What we just did with Michael Jordan, everyone, saw this play, so to get the opportunity to be interactive with Mike, it's just a great opportunity. I envision more parents being in the museum playing the games than the children.
There are so many cool things to see here at the Chicago Sports Museum. For instance, take a look at this. This is Will Purdue's size 19 shoe compared to Derrick Rose's size 12 and a half. That's pretty amazing.
Warmer weather this week meant fewer games getting canceled for Rockbridge County's baseball teams. But first, a quick wrap-up for the hardwood. VMI was the last Rockbridge basketball team in action. The Keydets played Yale Tuesday night in the semifinals of the CollegeInsider.com Invitational Tournament. VMI fought hard until the end, but fell just short of the Bulldogs 75-62. The loss caps off a historic season for VMI basketball, with this team becoming the first in school history to play in April. Back to baseball, and Washington and Lee gets the week off leading into exams. The Blue and White will be back next weekend to resume conference play. But another college in Lexington is still swinging the bat. VMI starts a road stretch against Liberty this weekend. The Keydets are on a 2-game winning streak with wins over Gardner-Webb and VCU earlier this week. Liberty just had an 8-game winning streak, snapped with a tough loss on the road at Maryland. The Keydets and the Flames will face off each day this weekend, with first pitch coming Friday night at 7. SVU's baseball team will take the field tonight in Roanoke, but the Knights have their work cut out for them. SVU will travel to face in-state rival Roanoke tonight. The Knights are coming off an embarrassing 20-5 home loss against Christopher Newport yesterday that saw them use 5 different pitchers. Roanoke is on the opposite end of the spectrum. The Maroons are on a 4-game winning streak, and their hitting is leading the way. Roanoke has scored 9 or more runs in each game of this streak. SVU and Roanoke will play tonight at 7 in Roanoke. Women's lacrosse is in the home stretch of their season, and the Generals of Washington and Lee are in good shape. At 10-2 on the year, the Blue and White have 4 conference games before the ODAC tournament. Thanks to exams, the Generals have the week off, but SVU is taking up the slack. The Knights at 1-8 are far from being playoff contenders, but the role of spoiler is ripe for the taking. SVU will play a 5-4 Marymount team that's right on the edge of the conference tournament bubble. SVU and Marymount take the field Saturday at noon. That's all the sports we have for you on this week's edition of the Rockbridge Report. I'm Eric Utomo.
The Rockbridge Report would like to express our thanks to Senior Brandon Churchill, who has been working in the control room for 4 years. We so appreciate everything you do to help our shows run smoothly, and we'll miss you next year.
I think what I really enjoyed is seeing the show evolve from when I was a first year. This was a one-shot, one-anchor show, and the stories, while interesting, it's like the Rockbridge Report starring Chickens and Bucky Miller, and then I've seen it evolve into a 2-shot show. And now a 2-shot show with
That's all for tonight's show. Thanks for tuning in. And a big thank you to you, Laura Lindsay, for all your hard work here at the Rockbridge Report. We'll miss you next year.
Thanks, Jeff. Be sure to tune in next fall for more of the Rockbridge Report, and visit us online at www.rockbridgereport.washingtonandlee.net for more content. Thank you and good night.